Good morning. It's a great day in South Carolina. Beautiful day outside. The weather is crisp, typical South Carolina fall day, and the beginning of a wonderful holiday season. And as we remember the blessings that we have, we do want to look forward through the season and make sure that we're able to take care of those that we love. Here in South Carolina, Team South Carolina is prepared to deal with winter weather as we go forward. We still remember 2014, one of the largest winter storms that we had in South Carolina. A lot of damage to our power lines, to our infrastructure, a lot of slick roads. And we as South Carolina, we were prepared to deal with that winter weather. But it is a team effort. And what we ask of the people of South Carolina is that, as in any season that you go into, is always have a plan for when things don't go the way they're supposed to go. Make sure you have your bug out kit. Make sure that you have the provisions to be able to take care of yourself for 72 hours. And then make sure that you are well coordinated with your family, that you know where people are going to be, and that you just kind of keep track of each other. It is a wonderful time of year, but it is a time of year that bad things can happen. So we're just asking that you are prepared. We are prepared here as Team South Carolina, all of the agencies, to assist you in the event of an emergency, but it will take time. So you need to be able to be prepared to exist for those 72 hours. You need to make sure that you have the ability to exist without power for an extended period of time, to be able to exist without being able to get on the road and go to the grocery store for an extended period of time. And do that before the weather gets bad. Have that plan and then be able to execute it when the conditions occur. So I wish you a great holiday season, but here at Emergency Management, we're prepared and we ask that you be. And I'm going to introduce now Kim Stinson, Director Stinson, of Emergency Management. Kim?
Thank you, sir. Everyone needs to be their own emergency manager, not just for this event and winter weather, but for all events. But winter storms in particular, you may not get help as soon as you might need it. So you need to plan ahead, like General Livingston said. Certainly having those 3 days of food and water, as General Livingston indicated. Also, your winter supplies should include things like shovel and rock salt and that sort of thing. The General also mentioned, staying off the roads. That's very critical. Don't go outside if you don't need to. In particular, the elderly and young children are specifically vulnerable to cold weather. So try to stay inside and try to stay off the roads if at all possible. You should insulate your pipes and if necessary leave some of the faucets dripping a little bit to ensure that you don't have frozen pipes. In the event you do have a pipe burst, you should know where your shutoff is so that you can take care of that immediately when that happens. And certainly you need to be aware of carbon monoxide poisoning if you're using alternate sources of electricity or heating or cooking. If you've got a fireplace, make sure you got a good screen to make sure that the sparks don't fly out into the living room from the fireplace itself. And also inspecting your chimneys is very important. That needs to be done at least once a year by a professional because creosote can build up in there and cause a fire. And of course, that's going to lead to some significant issues there. All these items that I've mentioned are contained and more are contained in our winter weather guide, which is available at our website at scemd.org. That's scemd.org. And that website has a lot of information, not just for winter weather, but certainly right now we'd ask you to go to that site and take a look at our winter weather guide. And I'll be followed by John Quagliariello from the National Weather Service.
Thank you, Director Stinson. Good morning. Winter storms can bring a variety of winter weather to the state of South Carolina, from snow to sleet to freezing rain. For this upcoming winter, La Nina conditions are forecast in the Pacific Ocean, And generally during La Nina winters, here in South Carolina, we usually experience warmer and drier than normal conditions on average. This is also reflected in the latest forecast from the Climate Prediction Center for the upcoming winter. Again, better chances for warmer and drier conditions across the state. So although these conditions are forecast for the state of South Carolina, cold outbreaks and individual winter storms are still possible. If winter storms do occur during La Nina, we typically find that ice is more likely than snow to occur. And with that comes greater impacts to infrastructure across the state. Looking back at some recent winter storms during La Nina winters, we found a heavy snow event across most of South Carolina of January 2000 that dropped 4 to 10 inches of snow across parts of the Midlands. The December 15, 2005 ice storm, which left up to 1 inch of ice accumulation north of Greenville and a quarter to a half-inch ice accumulation across most of the rest of the upstate. The Christmas Day snow in the upstate in 2010. And then most recently, the January 2011 snow and ice storm that left 1/2 to 1 inch of ice accumulation across southern and eastern portions of the state, with up to 10 inches of snow in the northern Midlands and the upstate. So cold temperatures, dangerous conditions on area roadways, and power outages are common during the winter storms. Please prepare now so that you and your family are safe during this upcoming winter season. Thank you. And now following me will be Major Rob Woods with the South Carolina Department of Public Safety.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Major Rob Woods of the South Carolina Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol has completed its preparations for potential winter weather. Plans have been updated. We've conducted our coordination meetings in each of our 7 geographical troops. These meetings included Highway Patrol headquarters support elements, as well as the State Transport Police and our key state support agencies, those being the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, the South Carolina National Guard, and the Department of Transportation. The patrol encourages citizens to follow SCMD recommendations in preparing for winter weather. We also encourage citizens to pay attention to advisories from the National Weather Service should winter weather threaten. And finally, avoid travel when that hazardous weather is present. Thank you, and I'll be followed by David Cook from the South Carolina Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Major Woods. Hey, good morning. I'm David Cook with the South Carolina Department of Transportation, and today I want to let you know some preparation activities that we've been performing in with the Department of Transportation. Number one, we have gone through our preseason employee training and equipment calibration activities. We've updated our assistance plans, which guides us when we move resources to the affected areas of the state. We've signed agreements with local governments and also contractors to get assistance from them when necessary. We've updated, or we've restocked all of our supplies. We have over 60,000 tons of salt and over 500,000 gallons of brine and calcium chloride ready to put out on our roadways. We've got over 1,000 plows and spreaders that we have prepped and ready to go. Our philosophy is to try to get out and pre-treat the roads when there's forecasted adverse weather, and then also to get back and retreat as often as we can. Our priorities are interstates and critical routes first, and then primary routes, and then secondary routes last. During inclement weather, I would encourage you to go to South Carolina DOT's website. It's www.scdot.org for information on road conditions, road and bridge conditions. And then also I'd like to encourage motorists, first of all, like they said, we want to avoid travel and not get out on the roads. But if travel is necessary, then slow down in adverse conditions, increase your following distance from the vehicle in front of you. Try to avoid the need for sudden braking, and also watch for areas of black ice that may be shaded areas on pavement. You know, even in very cold winter mornings, you can have black ice where irrigation systems have been spraying water on pavement. So just be aware of that and slow down. And also, lastly, I would like to ask that you watch out for DOT employees and equipment, especially when we're out in advance of a storm, pre-treating. You know, traffic may be moving at highway speeds, but our equipment will be going much slower as they're applying chemicals. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, once again, we appreciate everyone coming out and your interest in possible severe winter weather. It's hard to think about it as you go out today, but it is always possible as we move into this season, and I'll open the floor for any questions.
Just given that we've seen big weather events all throughout the season otherwise from the winter, I mean, is that changing anything and as to how you guys are getting prepped? I mean, or is it just kind of, I don't want to say the same old, I mean, you have a plan that you're sticking with right now?
Well, we have a plan that we're sticking with right now. As you know, it's never the same old, because each storm brings its own particular set of challenges. And even a winter storm this year is going to be different from a winter storm last year. Back in 2014, the ice moved much further south than it had in the past and caused a lot of damage down around the Aiken area, and which was unusual for South Carolina. So we do look at it. We have a good base plan, but we are prepared to move off that plan whenever needed.